Well, Bob will figure out it's not on. Sidelines in Long Beach, St. John Coaching Show on 107.7. It's time for John Jump. He's working forward back in the pool. Head coach William McDaniel is here. For the first time about 4 or 5 weeks, I can actually know the word playoffs. Playoffs in front of you, and now you give me a dirty look like I don't want to talk about it.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Friday, Wednesday, the game, watching the guys on the field,
Our kids are really, the thing that right now the internet is the internet. So our kids were all over it, our fans were all over it, so they had an idea that we were playing for something, and we knew that mathematically we were pretty much in at that time is what everyone was telling me. But to our kids' credit, they came out, they took a very business-like approach to getting our job done. And I think that showed obviously on the court.
The line center team knows it's scary votes. But I tell you what, that front four, that young man going to Penn State, I'm watching them. I mean, all kinds of trouble in that game. The first possession, I mean, we're sitting there and all of a sudden Brady's that ball in his hand, he could bring it back and boom, that ball's in the turf and you think, wow, it's almost happening.
Yeah, it just slipped out of his hands is what he said. So, but you know what? Once again, the resiliency of our team, our guys were like, okay, we made a mistake. We'll have it again. Let's keep on going.
Third straight year of the playoff, what's it mean to you to be at home?
I mean, it's huge. The fact that we don't have to hop on a bus at 2 o'clock and go 2 hours down to Columbus, wherever we would have had to have gone. Just the fact that our kids can be comfortable. The fact that they can sleep in their own bed without nerves tonight. That they can go to school at the normal time. Their routine is the same. The other big blessings for our fans. It's been a long time coming. That they have an opportunity just to ride right over the airport and enjoy the trappings of all of what we do there when we're at home. So I'm excited about that for our fans.
At one time, 2 and 3 of the year, we talked about it in the post game. We talked about running the table the rest of the year. Again, you talk about
They really have, and that's the sign of a mature team. A lot of these kids, it was interesting when we had our Monday meeting, this team, this varsity team, all they know is the postseason. Our kids that are seniors, that were sophomores that first year, all they know is postseason. So I think the maturity of our group understanding that this is what we do, this is the expectation. That they weren't going to let anything other than that happen. And they went out and they performed when they had to. And, when you have to win one of those games like you do. You have to look along the way when you're at break and you get locked in and they've done the rest.
What can you tell me about what the rest of
They're a good football team. They play great leagues. They have some talented kids. Their tailback number 22 is an outstanding player. Number 5, the receiver, he's got speed that rivals any speed team here in the track. They've got some really good defensive players. Number 29, I don't know the names of some of the numbers, but he's as good as anyone around here off the edge. He reminds me of the Cole kid over at Central. And they've got a tough hard-nosed linebacker at number 20. So they've got a quarterback can really manage the game. So I tell you what, it's a very track-like team. I think they would really be a good team, one of the upper echelon teams in our league. So they present some problems for us. And the other part about it is just you just don't know how to prepare for them. You get to 3 games, but they've done so many different things. They've gone from spread, they've gone from 2-back, they've gone from empty. So they do quite a bit of stuff offensively. So defensively, it was a tough week to prepare. Offensively, they do what they do defensively, and I think we've got a really good game plan that way. So it's going to be a challenge for us, and our kids are up to it.
Talking to your coaches before the show even started, he said the team reminds him a lot of St. Francis. They got that running game going. Obviously, they're using their backup quarterback, not quite as good as the guy they had in there. And then we understand the wide receivers like a 4 or 5 star guy looking at Big Ten schools.
Yeah, you know what? That is a great comparison. Very St. Francis-like, where if you remember that week, I said the exact same thing. They had some guys from a speed standpoint that if they got behind us, we would be in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, I would say they're very comparable to the St. Francis team. They might have a few more weapons at their disposal, but very similar. You know, Bumpus would be equivalent to that number 5, and the tailbacks would be equivalent to the kids that they have back there. Quarterback is very similar to the quarterback St. Francis has. But I think overall, the overall team speed at St. Francis might be a little bit better, but it's a comparable comparison.
You know, the media and everybody in town loves to talk about your offense, but I brought this up before as well. Your defense has produced a ton of turnovers this year, and it really stood out, especially in that Lima senior game when Dimitri was working center field there on Benton and picked off a couple passes on Friday.
Yeah, you know what? Sneakily, we've done that. And it's really kind of been the resurgence of the defense. After taking our lumps there early on in the obviously the AW game, and then to back that up with
6 minutes in.
You know, you got AW, and then you've got Whitmer and Central. So 3 of the top teams in our division back to back to back. So you know, great offensive teams at that. So our kids really settled down. We got back into the scheme of what we're doing. And then it was just a matter of us playing hard across the board, and getting 11 hats to the ball. That's going to be a big part of what we have to do tomorrow to be successful as well.
You know, understanding this as well, Westerville's probably looking at tape, but the last 3 weeks I've seen 3 different offenses from you. I've seen empty backfield, running the football, so they probably not. It's going to be tough to prepare for you as well.
Oh, without question. I would think that too. I would think that it would make – I know if I was – as a matter of fact, we were talking about that today, Coach DeCant and I. When you look at what we have out there on the field, to have to try to prepare for that, it's got to be a daunting task. It really does. What it would force us to do would be to be vanilla. You know, you really
7 minutes in.
You can't hang your hat on saying, okay, we're going to do this or we're going to do that, because just like you're saying, we can come out in various different things. And I think we did that strategically for a reason. And the thing about it, they did not take our last game. So they won't even see the empty. They won't see the 5 wides unless they were able to get the game from somebody else. But otherwise, they probably won't even be prepared for that.
Again, you know, in that Lima senior game, you got a 1st and 38 at one time. I love the hook and lateral call. A couple of years ago, I'm sure Doug Pearson will tell you as well. The end of the half, they had Stafford and Flowers and all these guys. They ran a hook and lateral, scored a touchdown late. But I love that call on for 1st and 38.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things that – the biggest thing when you get in a situation like that is you want to try to get half of it back by the 2nd down. And if you can get, you know, 7 to 10 back on that 1st down, you're sitting in pretty good position. And I think, obviously, with that play and how it developed, we were able to do that.
How are we doing health-wise?
You know what? We're okay. We took a little bit of a hit yesterday with one of our players that plays quite a bit for us. He tweaked his ankle a little bit yesterday in practice. So that's going to be a game-time decision. We don't know exactly right now what that's going to be. But like we talked about it, it's one of those things that the other kids that play behind them, they practiced since June as well. You know, so it's always going to be the next man up type of mentality. And we have confidence in any kid that we roll out there because, one, first and foremost, they care about what they're doing. You know, we love them. They love their teammates, and they're not going to do anything intentionally to let those guys down.
You know, offensively as well, you lost Will Lanier before that Clay game, but how's things shaking out with that offensive line? It seems to me it's actually worked out pretty well.
Well, you know what? Once again, Gary, it goes back to, like I said, those kids have practiced as well since July as well. You know, a lot of times that second kid never gets an opportunity, but when you look at the guys that have had those opportunities, they've gone in and they've done a nice job. Ian Milkowski, the week that Antonio was out, Gage Knapp has stepped in for Will Lanier and done a nice job as well. So that's the program. That's what we're all about, kids maximizing their potential and stepping up when it's their opportunity.
Again, I know the Pinnacle is waiting for you. What kind of event are you going to tonight?
9 minutes.
Well, that's the CYO event that they're having, and they're honoring some of the local high school kids. and one of our players, Jason Gier, was being honored tonight.
Cool.
So yeah, it's an opportunity for that organization to give back to some of the local high schools, and also for us as an organization in our high school to go and support them.
Good to see you as always.
Thank you, my
Enjoy
friend.
the game tomorrow night at Leiden,
Alrighty.
man.
Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to talk cross country with head cross country coach Todd Black for a senior runner Liam Seipel, who ran at the States last Saturday in Columbus. We are live from sidelines in Maumee. It's the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. Welcome back, everybody. We're live from sidelines in Maumee. It's the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. Joining me now, cross-country coach Todd Black, senior runner Liam Seipel, just coming off the state meet in Columbus on Saturday. And Liam, I got to talk to you first. What was the experience like?
It was awesome. I know, like, coming into the season that's the number one thing I wanted to do is go to the state meet, whether it be by myself or with the team. Because last year I missed out, and that was really rough. And I know I talked to Coach about that last year, and we said a couple words after that meet. but yeah, it was great. It was a great experience being there with my teammates and with Coach, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. That was awesome.
The way the season was going, we kind of knew halfway through the season you could probably qualify for state. But when you got there, what was the experience like for you?
Well, the first day we got there on that Friday, it was a little bit dead there. There weren't like a lot of people. But then the afternoon when we got there on Saturday, there were so many people, and there's like a lot of teams and stuff like that, and people screaming, and it was just a whole another experience because it was different than being at Tiffin Carnival because there was way more people at the state meet than at Tiffin.
Of course, Coach Black, you went down with him. The last time you were down in Columbus was 2016.
That's right.
How was this different for you?
Well, it's just when you go down there on a regular basis and then you're not there, it's just more rewarding for the athlete that put the work in. And Liam did that this year in multiple years, and coming up short last year and then reaching the goal this year. Even though his teammates were able to go with us, we took about 5 other guys, some young guys, to see the state meet. We'd have loved to have them run in there as well. But it was definitely enjoyable when you see somebody work hard and get the reward.
Liam's he's a pretty confident kid, but could you tell even beforehand that even as a senior, he was a little nervous on Saturday?
Oh, yeah. We talk about that, and he said it, openly. I'm a little nervous, and that's normal. And, I try to tell him that, it's okay to be nervous because you care and you want to do well. But you take that nervous energy and put it into positive energy and just focus on what you do. It was no different race. It was just, the top 20 teams in the state of Ohio and like
right.
40, 44, 45 other best individuals. But it's still 5K, and He's done it all year, and he's done it for the last 2 or 3 years, or last 4 years. So it was just another race, really.
So for you, Liam, did it start out as another race, or did it kind of become another race once you got into the race?
It was a whole nother like course. It was really flat, but like starting out, it was like the first 400 or 600 meters was just dead straight, and you kind of cut in to like this trees, and you had to like get over so you wouldn't get pinched off. So that I didn't know like exactly how I should go out, and I was like a little bit nervous, and I went out a little bit too fast, and I got kind of caught up at the first mile. But other than that, I think I did all right by myself, but it was just a great experience.
When it's a track like that, I mean, do the really good runners just are they flying right from the start?
Yeah. There's a lot of guys just sprinting out. I thought they were sprinting. I was like, man, I need to stay up there. I got to stay up with the top guys, and that's what I tried to do. And they were just the whole race was just guys moving and moving.
Coach Black, before he even started, what was your words of advice before he even got started on Saturday?
Just do what you need, what you've been doing. Get out. And we set a lofty goal, trying to be in the top 20, but and try to run with those guys. You've already reached the state meet. Let's put it out there and see if you can, even get faster. Because he PR'd to get to the state meet, and so we were hoping he could get under 16.
4 minutes.
And he set himself up for that. He ran a decent race. It's just when you get 20 of the best teams out there, and it makes it difficult because normal races, I think his lowest finish was the 30th at the Tiffin Carnival.
Right.
But you put the best teams out there with the best guys, that makes it more competitive.
Right.
But I think when you look at his time and performance, it was a good performance. Not the PR that we were looking for, but it still was a good performance.
Was part of it as far as not getting the PRs, just starting out so fast that the nervous energy kind of took its toll after a while?
Yeah, I feel like it was just like a lot of nerves, and I was not expecting everyone to go out so fast in the first like 400, 600 meters.
While I have you here, I already talked to Coach Black about this. We've got to talk about hockey because great expectations for the St. John's hockey team this year. You lost a tough one in the district finals last year to Northview, but you have so many guys coming back. Give us a little scouting report on the hockey team.
Well, I feel like we have a
5
lot of the same guys back, but we didn't really lose anyone too essential to the team. I'm not bagging on the guys from last year, but I'm just saying we only lost a couple guys, and we also this year we're bringing in a lot of like new freshmen and sophomores that could be essential to the team.
We're talking about practice-wise. You just got finished running on Saturday, playing hockey. What it's been like for you just to get your legs back and even your hockey skills back?
Yeah, it felt a little weird. I wasn't, it was a little hard being quick on my feet, and it just felt really, really weird. Kind of the same as last year, going from running to hockey, and it's kind of the same with going from hockey to track. It kind of feels weird having the same energy level.
Now, we know guys like Meter and Pollock and P-Lock coming back, but you were talking before about young guys. You guys were young a couple of years ago. We know how good you guys were as sophomores. Who should we keep an eye on as far as youngsters go?
Youngsters,
6 minutes.
little Lowry. He's one of the smaller guys, but he works really, really hard. I feel like he could be really good. In Max Perino, he's pretty sure he's a sophomore or junior, but he's a really good defenseman, and I feel like a couple of those guys can, do great things for our team just to keep the back end of our defensive group up and going.
Now, I know you guys spent a few days at the Huntington Center this week. You did that last year as well. What was that experience like?
It was a lot of fun. It's a lot of like team bonding and getting to know your teammates as you have new guys coming in and stuff like that. And every day we just get on the ice for like 50 minutes, and then I do an ice cut, and then another 30 minutes we stay on the ice, and then after we have like a team dinner. So it's really fun.
The ice at Huntington, what's that like to skate on?
It's way different than Tamo. It's way nicer.
Well, it's
ice,
probably not as cold either.
Oh yeah, it's nice and warm there. We got a nice little locker room and stuff like that. But it's always fun skating over at Huntington.
7 minutes.
Do you have any kind of contact with Walleye players or coaches or staff while you're there?
Well, there's some staff that just walk around and stuff like that. But I feel like the most important thing is, just being around our teammates and our coach Matt Bullinger. He was the assistant coach for the Walleye, so I feel like since he knows a lot around that area, I feel like it helps with getting different stuff in the ice.
The transition to Bollinger, how's that worked out? I mean, he was kind of new for you guys, but you guys got kind of sorted things out. What's been your transition been like?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, he's a really great coach, and he's been changing up drills for us. Like the first year he was there, he just changed up a lot of drills. Kind of got us flowing on the ice. I feel like he just helped with building our confidence for finishing out our year strong.
Give us an idea of your schedule coming up in the next couple of days.
Okay, so tomorrow we play at 5 o'clock against Gilmore Academy. I know like last year they were like ranked 9th in the state, and I know that's going to be a challenge facing them. But I feel like if we play Titan hockey, I feel like we can maybe win the game. And then Saturday we play St. Charles, and last year we beat them 6-0. But we're just going to give it our all and see how the week turns out.
Liam, good to see you. Congrats again. Coach
you.
Black, congrats to you
Thanks
as well.
a lot.
Always good to have you on.
Yep.
When we come back, assistant football coaches Drew Botsdorf and Tim DeCant are in the house. We are live from Sidelines in Maumee. It's the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf.
Two, one.
And welcome back, everybody. We are live from Sidelines in Maumee. It's a St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. I'm Gary Sensenstein, along with Josh Jump, working aboard back at The Wolf. Got the BCSN crew here, streaming this as well. Assistant football coaches are with me, Drew Botsdorf and Tim DeCant. I got to talk to you first, Drew, on the offensive side. You heard the interview with Coach Mack talking about how you guys have changed things. Was that a conscious choice in the last few weeks to kind of change the offense?
It was.
Or was part of it maybe, we had some running backs that were injured and whatever, kind of protecting guys, or was it a combination of things?
It really was both. We had a couple guys hurt, as a lot of people saw. Carson had a concussion at one of the games. But really just kind of wanted to get the ball around to everyone, so putting people in different positions, just trying to get them the ball.
As an offensive coordinator, what do you like the best? Do you like pounding the ball on the guys if you can, or just like again in the Clay game when you guys came up with the open backfield? I'm sitting there saying, well, I kind of like this because you could tell Clay was not ready for that.
Right, so what I do, I do the offensive coordinating for the JV, but we all kind of are a crew together, if you will, to help coachettes call the plays, but they definitely weren't ready for that when we went 5 wide. It kind of got them all confused and got some guys open for us.
It's your second year on the staff. What got you to St. John's?
Actually, I have a family friendship with Coach Mack, but graduated from St. John's, and he just had an opening and an opportunity arose and just went for it.
Perfect. Did Tim DeCant, linebacker coach, again, Bubby Barnes, you got a good set of linebackers. But we were talking about Westerville's offense, comparing them to St. Francis. A bunch of, they're going to probably run the ball on you. Do they have the same type of talent in the backfield as maybe St. Francis has, or do they have anybody comparable to even like Norrells or Banks?
Yeah, I would actually say he's more comparable to Norrells and Banks, which I think is really going to help give us the advantage. We've seen kids that can run the football. I think game in and game out in the track, we see that on a consistent basis. So I'm really, really excited for the challenge. I think our boys are excited, and we're going to get after it on Friday night.
But I kind of thought that even in, ever since the Whitmer and Central games that, when you played St. Francis, we heard so much about their 3 running backs, but, Harris only ended up with like 44 yards in that game. I thought that was like a statement game for your defense.
Yeah, absolutely. The boys were prepared. I think that was a testament to them and their work ethic. I think we had a great game plan, and I feel the same way going into this week as well. I think we've done a great job preparing for what we think they're going to do, and I think the boys are really, really excited to get after it. First home game.
And the thing is, when you don't see a team and you're looking at them on film, it's really kind of hard to gauge until they actually take the field tomorrow night, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're just trying to keep the kids even keel. Don't get too excited. Don't get too down on themselves as well if something good or bad happens. So I think that's going to be our biggest opportunity tomorrow.
The defensive numbers this year have been astronomical. I mean, again, you add up the fumble recoveries, the interceptions. I don't think there's another team in the track that's kind of put up those numbers.
Yeah, we really hang our hat on getting the ball back for our offense. I think that's the key to our team is, get on the field, do what we need to do our job, and get the ball back in the offense's hand, and Brady Lichtenberg can do great things for us.
Speaking of Brady Lichtenberg, of course, Drew, you're the quarterback's coach. What's it like to have Brady there? And, of course, you have Blake as the backup. He's still only a junior. Talk to me about Brady's development a little bit.
Yeah, it's awesome to have them there. 2 great kids, very easily coached, and just take kind of everything and run with it. And it's nice to have kids like that where you can just go out there and have fun every day with them.
Speaking of running with it, Brady's done a lot more running lately. Before the Lima game, I took him by the helmet. I said I'd had one word of advice: slide. I'm sure when you're watching the games as well, you're probably thinking the same thing.
That's exactly right. I'm yelling at him every single time I see him go and lower his shoulder. Just get down. Don't take that hit. There's no need.
Does he have deceptive speed?
I think he does. There's some times he can get on the edge and he runs right by someone. Shocks me even. I see it every day.
Yeah, I see plays. I think there's 2 plays that stand out to me, and it's actually happened a couple times. The Findlay game it happened. I think the Central game as well, where you swear he's going to go to the pylon, and all of a sudden he cuts it back in. When that happens, does that kind of surprise you at all?
It's a little scary to see that happen because he's taking a hit when he does that, but definitely shocking that he thinks he can beat those guys with his speed.
Now, as a quarterback's coach, you've scouted the Westerville South defense. Give us an idea about their defense.
There's a lot of open gaps, and with the quarterback as good as we have, there should be some open spots in the flat or deep down the middle that he can take advantage of.
I was talking to C.J. Valentine before we got started.
4 minutes.
He mentioned that they like to play a 3-man front a few times like Whitmer did, and I thought when we saw 3-man fronts, I thought we ran the ball pretty well.
Yeah, we definitely did, and we can also take advantage of that this week if they drop 8.
Tim, talk about the Westerville offense a little bit.
Yeah, so again, they're going to come out and pound the football. I think if I'm a Westerville coach, the way that you minimize the opportunities for offense is run the ball, control the clock, and put the ball really in their best player's hands. That's number 22. So
again, as far as speed goes, are we talking about a guy who's got kind of that open field speed?
Yeah, he's definitely a dangerous kid if he gets out in space. So I think our biggest goal is to make sure we bottle him up, again, box him in and make him run east and west as much as possible and not get outside of our guys.
5 minutes.
Now, I understand they have a big-time wide receiver. Big Ten teams looking at him like a 4 or 5 5-star recruit. Talk about him. Can you? First of all, I don't know who he is. Can you tell us who he is? And,
Yep. So he's number 5 for them. Okay. He hasn't really had a lot of opportunities to make some plays for him. Again, at the quarterback position, they've struggled a little bit, had some injuries early on in the season, and they've really been riding the running game. So again, he's another kid that is definitely a question mark. We know that he's capable of taking a game and running with it, but again, we just got to try and be prepared as best we possibly can.
Do they ever make the offense, the passing game part of it at all, or are they the type of team that kind of pounds it, and just kind of goes deep every once in a while?
Yeah, so they're going to actually run a lot more screens. Again, get the ball out quick. Again, with their quarterback situation that they have, they're going to run the football, run their screens, and trying to control the clock as much as possible.
Speaking of screens, Drew, we'll talk to you as well. Early in the season, first 3 or 4 games, we saw a lot of stuff for guys where CJ and Carson came drifting out of the backfield. We haven't seen a lot of that in the last couple of games. Is that one of those things against Westerville that might come in handy?
We've definitely been playing with it this week, trying to get those guys the ball in space. They're really good when they get the ball in their hands. So if it helps us win the game, that's what we're going to do.
I know you're just an assistant coach, but what does it mean to you to have a home game at Leiden tomorrow?
We haven't done it since I was on the team in 2010,
minutes.
so it's a big deal to our kids. It's a big deal to the program. So we're definitely excited to be at home at Leiden Field tomorrow night.
Tim, give me an idea what the locker room was like last Friday at Lima.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the guys are really, really excited to be where they're at. We started off the season a little tough. I think you were talking with Coach Mack about starting out 2-3. That's always a challenge, but I think we were able to rein the guys in and say, hey, this is an opportunity for us to do the things that we need to do, get to where we need to be, and I think it shows getting that 4 seed in a tough region. I mean, when you look at Central and Anthony Wayne, they've done some great things this season. But we're really chomping at the bit to get out there and prove that we're more than capable to do what we need to do to knock those guys off, if you will.
Perfect. Good to meet both of you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for
having me.
having us.
Enjoy the moment tomorrow at Leiden. When we come back, we have Bubby Barnes and CJ Valentine in the house. We are live from Sidelines in Maumee. It's the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf.
2, 1.
And welcome back, everybody. We're live from Sidelines in Maumee. It's the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. I'm Gary Sensenstein, along with Josh Jump. He's working the board back at the Wolf. Joining me now, Junior Bubby Barnes, and of course CJ Valentine here as well. And got to talk to you first, CJ. I know you were kind of banged up there for a while, but you say physically you're going to be good for the Westerville game, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be 100% ready to go.
You know, tell me how the years progress. You and Carson Toth working out of the backfield. The combination has worked pretty well, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a really good duo. I think we both run hard and get the job done.
You know, Bubby, again, on the defensive side, we were talking about stopping the run earlier. I know you had John Zell-Norrells, you had Banks, but I thought, again, you guys stepped up in that St. Francis game when you stopped Harris and those guys.
Yeah, that was big for us. We knew he was going to come out and run hard, just like John Zell and Jared, and we knew that if we stopped the run and make them throw the ball, then we were going to be good.
You know, talk again about Friday night, beating Lima Senior. What was the mood on the field, you know, in the locker room with the bus ride back home when you realized you're going to play a home game at Leiden this week?
Yeah, well, before the game, we knew it wasn't just a game. Like, we got to win this game if we want a chance at getting the home game. So there was a lot at stake, and the energy was really high. And once we found out that we were playing at home, like, the bus went crazy. Like, we were happy we didn't have to take the trip down to Westerville.
Yeah, it took a lot of work to get there too, didn't it, CJ? I mean, you were 2-3 at one time. You knew you had to run the table.
Yeah, we knew we had to get a lot of work done. We just progress every week thanks to our coaches, and we're continue getting better and ready for the playoffs.
Was there a game in particular that stood out for you this year where you kind of knew that this team had it and then you were going to be able to win those last 5 games?
I'd say after the Central loss.
Okay.
I knew this team had a lot of capability, and I just knew if we worked hard and focused that we could get it done.
What did you remember? What did you get out of that Central loss that kind of propelled you forward?
The fear that they had, it gave us a lot of motivation and really drove us and knew we could make a run this season.
In what way? I mean, you talk about the fear that they had, because just the fact that they were up 14-0 at one time, all of a sudden it's 28-26 and you're in the game. Talk about that a little bit.
They were just getting a little panicked, a little flustered. We could see it, and we thrived off it, but we couldn't finish the game. But it just made us hungry.
Again, your feelings on Friday night, what was it like for you?
It was just a great experience. Loved being under the lights, and just loved the game of football.
You know, again, Friday, home game with Westerville South. You know, first time we've been ever at home for a first-round game. Describe what you're going to be seeing on Friday night.
We're going to be playing our hearts out. It's first ever. We're making history, and we're going to try to get that win.
Bubby, what's the atmosphere been like at school?
It's been, like, everybody's pretty excited, you know, because when they ask anybody on the football team, like, we're going to win, like, everybody's like, yeah, like, we can definitely do this. So everybody's pretty excited and ready to get out there.
Again, you know, I know I was joking with you before about have you worked on your three-point shot. Are you missing basketball at all?
I'm missing it a little bit. Like, I'll be ready to play, but hopefully it's not for a couple more weeks. Hopefully we can keep this run going.
And I was going to say, I mean, a lot of schools are used to having that long run in the playoff, and of course the basketball coach has to sit back and wait for what's going on. But you kind of like that feeling, don't you?
Yeah, I like it. The basketball coaches have been talking to me like they have no idea what's going on yet. They don't know who's on the team yet, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know there's a scrimmage Saturday morning against Rogers at 10 o'clock. Give me an idea what to expect from basketball.
Well, I know Saturday there'll probably be a lot of young guys out there playing, so it's not going to be like what's really going to be this season. But hopefully the seniors come out, and we should be really good this year, having like Jaden and Sam back, 2 key pieces to our team 2 years ago. So it'll be nice having them back. And
of course, CJ, you're a wrestler as well, and we were joking that you're at 180 now, but by the time you get back to wrestling, Coach Contos wants you down to like 152. You're going to have to lose like 28 pounds.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I'll have to get it done. Just a lot of progression.
Good to see you, man. CJ, good to see you. Bubby, good to see you as well. We'll see you tomorrow night at Leiden. When we come back, junior football player Thomas Zyrus in the house, along with assistant coach Doug Kinder. We are live from Sidelines in Maumee. It's a St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf.
3, 2, 1.
And welcome back, everybody. We are live from Sidelines in Maumee. It's a St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. As promised, junior football player Thomas Zyrus, of course, freshman coach Doug Kinder. Got to ask you first, Thomas, your feelings on Friday night, that Lima senior game. Give me an idea of the atmosphere on the field, the locker room, and the bus coming back home.
I mean, well, coming in, we knew that if we win that game, we have a good chance of having a home playoff game. It's the first time for us, which was huge, and we knew that Lima was a good team. They played Central close for the most part, and a lot of good teams close, and we knew we had to come in and play strong. So during the game, I think we were excited. We played well, and that bus ride home, we got the news we got a home playoff game, and then we lost it, and it was great. And then the whole weekend was we got weekend off, and so it's been a good week of practice for tomorrow too. So.
2-3 at one time, but you run the table. Did you know you were capable of running the table, or was there a game that kind of stood out that said, hey, we can win our last 5 games?
I mean, for sure. I mean, I knew coming in we had a good squad, and I think after Anthony Wayne, we knew we had a lot of work to do, and then we're not just going to come in and roll over teams. And then I think Central was a good bounce back for us, and we knew what kind of team we could be. And then from there on, we had a tough schedule to begin with, and then we kind of put our foot down and roll through the rest of the league. So. And
of course, also joining us, freshman coach Doug Kinder. You're sitting here on, you're the freshman coach. Give us an idea of the freshman talent that you have and what we got coming down the road.
Well, matter of fact, we had 37 kids come out this year, which was pretty big for us. We had not had that in a long time. Currently, we have 10 of our freshman players from this season now up with the varsity going into this playoff run. And there are several of our kids that are actually going to see probably time on Friday night. Great talent base. Really excited about this program and going forward and what they have to lend the Titan football program.
What kind of season did you guys have?
We finished 6-3.
Okay.
We had one game against Lima Senior that got canceled on us, but 6-3. We beat 2 of our rivals this year. We're really excited about beating Whitmer. We were excited about beating St. Francis pretty handedly, so we were pretty excited about our season overall.
Speaking of freshmen, we're watching the Lima Senior game. Who is the large man? Number 76 or 79. How big and how much weight are we talking about here?
That is Andrew French.
Okay.
And Andrew French is 6'7", 300 and plus pounds. He's really come a long way. Believe it or not, Andrew never played football until this year.
Wow.
But he bends really well. He's not like your typical big man. And when they're down doing individual drills with the varsity guys at the beginning of the season, Andrew had no problem going against Thomas and some of the other guys. And he is going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next several years.
I was going to say, you're sitting there in the varsity team, Thomas, and you see this guy walking on the field. What was it like for you?
I was thinking, oh my God, it'd be great if he could start right now. That size is just intimidating, and he came in the game with confidence, and it'll be fun to see him grow up the next year.
For years, I remember when I worked at Channel 11, teams like Liberty Center, Patrick Henry would always make the playoffs, and they'd play a couple of games, and the coaches talked about how important playoffs were for freshmen, for sophomores, those extra practices. How much do they help, Doug?
Yeah, they're really amazing. And, having this opportunity, we changed it up a little bit this year. At the beginning of our season, our freshman players were down there actually doing individual drills with the varsity team and even going into some of the meetings with the varsity. So they were very ingrained in that. So with our kids, our 10 kids that came up towards the end of the season, there's been a really nice transition. Zane Zeider's been up with the varsity a couple of weeks. He's been seeing a lot of time on Friday nights. He's been doing some amazing stuff. There's another young man, Darren Croy. He's actually was one of my offensive tackles, but that is a young man that can kick a 50-plus yard field goal. When that ball comes off his foot, it explodes. It's amazing to watch this young man kick. And there's A.J. Schuler and some other talent that's out there that's already contributed on Friday night as well. And you mentioned Andrew. I believe Andrew got in a little bit last week as well. So the talent and the upside for the freshmen coming into this program, and then the 8th grade class that we're seeing now, there's some amazing kids, and I'm really excited to see what the next couple of years are going to bring.
Thomas, back to tomorrow night. What's going to mean for you to have a home game at Leiden tomorrow?
It's going to be huge. I mean, right now in our meeting, we were told that they were 88.4% favorites or whatever that is, and we kind of took that, to heart because we're home and we have the better record, we're the higher seed, we had a better finish to our year, and I think tomorrow's going to be a huge
4
confidence
minutes.
booster for us to go on in the playoffs.
Yeah, but don't you like being the underdog though? Doesn't that make a little difference for you guys?
For sure. I feel like all year we've been, underdogs in most of our games, whether, people think we are or not. I think it shows a lot about our character, the way we, put our heads down and just go to work and grind and, continue to come out on top on most of these games.
The last couple of games, you mentioned Zane Zider. Tell me about Zane Zider a little bit.
I love him. He's
again,
a great kid.
he came in the Clay game, and we saw number 10. We were like, who the heck is number 10? Because the roster wasn't really updated. But then Mike Schoen sent us a text message, but apparently this kid's has some talent.
Oh, yeah. I love him. He's a great kid. He comes to work every day, and he just, doesn't need to ask questions, he does what he asks you to do, and he started Friday against Clay, and he's fast, man. He's going to be good the next couple of years.
Talk recruiting-wise. I was joking with you. Your favorite trip so far? Do you have a favorite?
I think for sure with Cincinnati, the atmosphere there, and the people, and how everything's just right there was just amazing, and I love the feel around there. So.
And of course, you got Michael Warren, the Central Catholic kid down there. Are there a lot of local guys around down there?
I know my Bubby's brother Jake. He runs down there, and I know a couple Chad Berg's brother goes there, and so most of my friends' older brothers go there, and so I know a couple of guys down there. Yeah.
The way the year has progressed for you, is it pretty much kind of gone to your expectations?
I mean, I think coming in, I knew what I had to do to if I wanted to go to the next level, how I needed to play. I think leading the track this year for most in receiving is a huge goal of mine. So I'm glad I pinned out the way it did.
Do you what are the odds that Westerville South will not pay attention to film and actually kick it to either you or Dimitri on the kickoff?
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. If we get it, we'll take off with it, though. We'll see.
You realize C.J. Valentine actually has more returns on the kickoff than anybody else in your football team?
I know. I did see that, yeah. That's crazy.
Again, give us a little scouting report on Westerville South on the defensive side.
On the defensive side?
Yeah.
I mean, they're a little bit undersized. I mean, they definitely have a lot of speed at the linebacking position. They have a good, a nice outside linebacker, but their DBs are small. They don't really press us too much, and they're vulnerable to a lot of deep routes. So we'll see how that goes.
The one call I loved in that Lima senior game was that hook and lateral between you and Carson.
Yeah, we tried it last year against Whitmer. We didn't work out too well, but this year I think we practiced it a lot, and then we ran it, comfortable with it, and got like 20 yards off it. So that was a nice little play.
What's it going to be like for you and your family tomorrow night?
I don't know. We're going through a lot, so I think tomorrow for me to come out and play strong for them will be great for them, and I think they'll enjoy it a lot, and I'll have fun with them this weekend when we fly out to Duke for a game.
Now, see, when I heard you were going to Duke, to me it's like that would be a Duke or a Northwestern, so it would be like an ideal location for you. What are you looking forward to in a Duke visit?
I just want to see what it's like to actually just get away from Ohio and see what they're like down there and how they handle
7
themselves
minutes.
and their program and how the kids are and all that stuff. So.
Perfect. Thomas, good to see you.
Good
Doug,
to see
good to
you.
see you as well. When we
Good
come
to see
back,
you.
we're going to wrap things up with Director of Athletics, Bob Brunet, with the Chick-fil-A Athlete and Teacher of the Week. We are live from Sidelines in Maumee. It's the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf.
this weekend, huh?
Yeah.
Three, two, one.
And welcome back, everybody. We are live from Sidelines in Maumee. It's a St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. Joining me now, Director of Athletics, Bob Ronet, with the Chick-fil-A Athlete and Teacher of the Week.
Well, again, we want to thank our partners, Chick-fil-A on Airport Highway, for sponsoring both the athlete and the faculty administrator of the week. So our athlete of the week is Dimitri Metopoulos. Dimitri helped the Titans to a road victory at Lima Senior. Dimitri had a touchdown, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries. He was named the BCSN Player of the Week because of his performance down at Lyman. I tell you, I was up in the booth when you were talking about, you and John were talking about Dimitri, and,
Yep.
and boy, he did, the game he had, offensively and defensively, it was a great game. I mean, he just did such a great job.
Well, let's face it, we were due.
Yeah.
I mean, because we didn't have anybody nominated all year long. We kind of thought Brady should have got it the week before against Clay because, in that game he ran for 3 touchdowns and he threw for 2, but kind of got denied the week before. But again, when we were talking in the press box last Friday, it just was such a complete game by Dimitri.
Yeah.
You just couldn't deny him.
No. I mean, what he did offensively alone would have, gotten an award. But when you add in the defense, what a game he had. I mean, it was, it's one that you always dream about. He goes both ways, plays special teams, and he was just all over the place. And he drove them, he gave Lima a lot of fits and everything, and he was fun to watch. Our faculty person of the week is Mr. Phil Levering. And if you remember Phil, he used to be the crew coach.
Right.
Phil's back at SJJ. He's teaching sophomore theology and working as a member of the Pastoral Ministries Department. We're very glad that Mr. Levering is back, and he's also a very important, integral part of the Titan community. Phil's a great guy. I got a chance to work with him when I first got there. He was named the crew coach that spring before I was hired, and I tell you, he did a great job with the program. He's so good for the school, and I'm just so happy that he's back with us.
Crew, is their season over?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Believe it or not, crew season, the last weekend when they're down in Tennessee.
The head of the hooch.
Yeah. And, I tell you, Coach did a great job down there, Coach Samuel, and the kids perform well as usual. And, the program is just going well. We're not missing a beat. You always kind of wonder, you had Phil, and then you had Pete Fox coming in, and you never know. But I tell you, Coach Samuel's done a tremendous job, and he's got them going on all pistons right now.
And, of course, we talked to Liam Seibel about hockey. We know the game's coming up there as well. Anything else going on? Oh, November 10th, open house coming up this weekend.
Well, we got open house.
Right.
And so it's, come on down. You can still, if you want to come and learn a little bit about St. John's, just give us a call or just show up, either way. And something new that we're doing this year is they're going to have personalized tours. So, if it's something that you want to look at in particular, you want to see everything, mark it all off. It'll be like having a menu there, and you decide what you want to do. So that way, those who are looking for a few things or want to learn about a few things, they don't have to be there for the whole time. And we're going to make it more personalized, and it's going to be really, I think, something, I like the idea. I think it's something really good, and it's going to go a long way for our new people.
What's the ticket situation like for tomorrow?
Well, we're still selling. We got to 1:30. Again, and it does help us. We don't get much and everything, but we do get a dollar something on every pre-sold ticket there. So plenty of tickets. Tickets are $8. All tickets $8. For students, adults, and seniors at the gate $9. So come do that. I want to throw one other thing out. Next Wednesday, we have our signing, and so we have Joey Akunuo will be signing that day. So it's a signing period, and he's one athlete I know of right now. We'll do that. That's will be at 2:15 in the afternoon in the Hyatt Center. So come on down and wish him good luck. He's a great player and all that, and we look forward to that.
Is it too early to plug the sports banquets?
No. Hey, it's coming up. I think we were just talking. We got the banquets coming up on the 19th. You got crew, cross country, and soccer at the Pinnacle, 6 p.m. And the next night is football and golf, 6 p.m. at the Pinnacle. And another thing, next Wednesday on the 13th is the winter sports preseason meeting. It's mandatory for the players and the parents as well as the coaching staffs to be there. It's an always exciting mandatory meeting, so come on there. And then the following week we got, after that you got the banquets, and next thing you know we're right into, hockey, kicks off with their first games, and the week after that you have the foundation game for basketball the day after Thanksgiving.
So how lonely is Mike Schoen, your basketball coach?
He's probably real lonely because he's he's not dealing with a lot of varsity players right now. But in a way that's a good thing because you get a chance to really look at a lot of these young kids. The freshmen in particular and sophomores. So obviously a lot of our we got what did we count last time? 6, 7, maybe even 8 on the varsity that are going to be varsity players. So it gives them a chance to look at some young kids. We were kind of discussing, hey, should we have the scrimmage or not have the scrimmage against Rogers on Saturday? Right. But it'll give them a good, hard chance to look at kids that he normally wouldn't be looking at this early in the year.
Perfect. Good to see you, Bob, as always. I want to thank the folks from Sidelines, as always. Good to have head football coach Larry McDaniel in the house. Of course, his assistant coaches, Drew Botsdorf, Tim DeCant, and, of course, Doug Kinder, the freshman coach. Coach Todd Black, the cross-country coach, with Liam Seipel. Of course, Liam participated in the state meet in Columbus over the weekend. Of course, football players Bubby Barnes, C.J. Valentine, and Thomas Zyrus here as well. Next time I talk to you will be tomorrow night from Leiden Field, the first home playoff football game for your St. John's Jesuit Titans at Leiden. Pregame at 6:30. I'm Gary Sensenstein saying good night and all the best. We were live from Sidelines in Maumee. It's the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf.